Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Hashim Barak. I warmly welcome you to the 8th Special Interest Group session on cybersecurity. Thank you all for joining. This is a series of sessions that we have on cybersecurity every 4 weeks. We covered a lot of ground this year when we started these virtually. We have had previous sessions on security operations centers, networking, cyber warfare, and some very other sort of interesting sessions previously. Um, I see a couple of new faces, so if you're going to if you're interested in checking those out that have already happened, they are available on our YouTube as well as our website. This session will be recorded and we'll make the recording available publicly on our social media and website channels. We do have in every session, we have a key topic that is covered. Sometimes we have multiples, but we try to focus on one. And the purpose of these sessions is essentially for us in industry and for you, most of you in academia, to come together and discuss and maybe as a very as a forum where we can discuss these interesting topics. So we will have a open discussion forum at the end of my talk. So please make use of that slot if you have any comments or questions, or if you want to share your own interest in cybersecurity, specifically cyber ranges. With this, let's begin. This is the agenda for today's session. We normally have Dr. Rashid Ali with us. He is the president of Spin Labs and the former executive director of Higher Education Commission. If he is available to join, he'll be sharing some opening remarks. Then we'll move to the key topic, which is cyber ranges. This is very critical nowadays if we are looking to develop cybersecurity skills at a mass level. So I'll be sharing with you some things regarding infrastructure use cases and how it helps in national level workforce development. And then we'll have the open forum for discussion. I see Dr. Rashid is not with us, so we'll move to my part of the talk. So the reason I chose this session is because we at SPS we have been working in cybersecurity for the better part of the last 3 decades, and we started off in early 90s, and right now we are working across the security immune system where you have these applications which are on a endpoint and they are ingesting data that travels through networks, and then there are all sort of events happening on the networks. So when you look at security so holistically, you realize that in order to avoid any breaches, in order to avoid any security threats, you really have to have those skills which are huge in number, which are very complicated, and compared to the threats that we have nowadays, the quantity of those skills required is also very huge. Now, how do you go on developing those skills at a mass level? Remember, the countries out there in the West, they have their own cyber forces, just like they have their space forces. Previously, it used to be like Air Force, Navy, and the armies. Now there are two more, space and cyber forces. So if countries are focusing on building whole armies who are going to be fighting in the virtual worlds, I think it's a time for us to start rolling up our sleeves and start building the basic infrastructures to help develop those skill sets, जो कि फिर बाद में जाके एज अ नेशन स्टेट पाकिस्तान में या एनी कंट्री फॉर दैट मैटर आपके साइबर स्पेस में थ्रेट्स को handle करें. So my role today, my objective today was to explain to the audience here the role of cyber ranges in education and training part, and how it can help us developing that critical mass of workforce. To achieve this objective, this is the agenda that I have set today. I'll be going over the challenges that are there, that we see, that I saw, that industry faces, that countries face in terms of cybersecurity workforce development. Then I'll share with you the purpose of a typical cyber range. I'll be sharing with you some use cases. Typically, कहाँ पे cyber range use हो सकती है. This will be followed up by मैं आपको कुछ infrastructure समझाऊंगा कि एक typical cyber range में infrastructure, what are the technical components which come into play, which is not very sophisticated, by the way. Then what are the common types of cyber ranges? If you as a university, how can you assess if you are buying cyber ranges? Some of you may be cyber security faculty. Some of you may be teaching in computer networks. If you want to have your students or faculty or universities wanting to give hands-on trainings, what are the factors that you need to consider? Because if you want to do that, cyber range is a critical component. And I'll share with you some examples. दुनिया में जो कुछ cyber ranges चल रही हैं, again, not a very exhaustive, but something that I was able to gather for this talk. And then I'll share with you what we at SPS are doing in cyber ranges. We are helping customers develop these labs for cyber ranges, which are essentially representing a set of curriculum. So I'll share that opportunity with you at the end of the talk. So with this, let's start. Being in cybersecurity industry, one thing that is very much observable nowadays is that these cybersecurity threats किसी ज़माने में वो perimeter wall है वो breach हो जाएगी. एक mainframe system पड़ा होता था, endpoints का concept नहीं था, कोई आपके पास IoT devices नहीं थे, so the threats were very limited, in the information security space. फिर जब इंटरनेट आ गया, एप्पल्स एंड माइक्रोसॉफ्ट्स आ गए और एंड पॉइंट्स आ गए, सबके टेबल्स पे मोबाइल डिवाइसेस आ गए, IoT sort of the connectedness increased, so does the cybersecurity threats, and everything is breachable nowadays. It's only a matter, it is said, I mean, it's not a matter of कि आप breach होंगे या नहीं होंगे, it's only a matter of question कि कब breach होंगे. We saw in the examples, I've shared this in previous sessions also, Bangladesh Bank का जहाँ पे एक printer के through they were able to transfer millions of dollars from Bangladesh Central Bank. And then अभी ये last week पाकिस्तान में हुआ है on I think it was a national bank और किसी और बैंक से फिर हुआ है, और previously 2017-18 में breaches हुई थी काफी banks की. So the point that I'm trying to make is these threats and these breaches have become very frequent. They're not just happening every couple of months, they're happening every minute, every second. You may want to look up their threat intelligence platform, for example, IBM का है X-Force. So इसको चेक कीजिएगा, ये पूरा आपको ग्लोबल मैप देता है कि दुनिया में साइबर सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट्स कहाँ पे आ रहे हैं. सर्टेन पार्ट्स ऑफ इट दैट आर फ्री एंड इट वुड एनलाइटन यू कि कितने थ्रेट्स डेली बेस पे आ रहे हैं, इफ यू वांट टू नो. Then they are very complicated. I mean, आप printer से enter होते हैं and you are able to convince Swift global network to transfer money worth millions of dollars. So the complication is huge because of these interconnectedness, and it's not possible if you do not have the holistic view to secure your environments against those complicated threats. Another important aspect is कि पहले अगर आपने कोई breach करनी है, if you have discovered a vulnerability और उसको आप exploit करना चाह रहे हैं, the ability to deploy that scheme, that threat scheme, it was not easier, and there are different reasons. But right now, because of the availability of information, because of the availability of high performance computing devices, because of cost factors and so on, it is very easy to deploy new schemes of these cybersecurity threats. And then with these come the compliance risks. अगर एक बैंक को ब्रीच हो जाता है, एक टेलीकॉम को ब्रीच हो जाता है, डिफेंस सेक्टर में ब्रीच हो जाता है, द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज वुड बी ह्यूज. यूक्रेन में वो जब यूटिलिटी ग्रिड को डाउन कर दिया गया था, तो अगर एक यूटिलिटी ग्रिड पाकिस्तान में बंद हो जाए, आपकी सारी फैक्ट्रियां बंद होगी, दूसरे दिन एहतजाज शुरू हो जाएंगे इधर मजदूरों के. सो रिस्क एसोसिएटेड विद एनी साइबर सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट, स्पेशली when it rolls over from IT to OT, जब वो SCADA system, manufacturing और ये सारे भी बीच में आ जाए, तो the costs are really huge. So the next challenge would be is कि इन threats को manage करने के लिए, the question is, do we have the skills? And the answer is no, because this whole variety of technologies that are out there, the whole plethora of threats that are out there, the skills are, we certainly do not have the skills. And it's not just Pakistan. Globally, there are millions of jobs which are available in cybersecurity. In fact, आजकल आप किसी से भी पूछ लें कि information technology में what's the hottest topic, and you would hear the word cybersecurity or maybe IoT or data center. But cybersecurity is certainly most of the time on the top of the list. So the skills that are there, they're not sufficient, number one, and then they're not appropriate in terms of quality. You do not have the skills. लोगों ने यूनिवर्सिटियों के अंदर साइबर सिक्योरिटी के कोर्सेज तो ले लिए हैं, but if you ask them to make your environment secure, their confidence level may be 5-10% because they do not have the hands-on experience. So there's a lack of quantity and the quality of skills. And then the third important aspect is कि existing models जहाँ से ये लोग train हो रहे हैं, Are they sufficient against these threats? Absolutely not. And the reason is because of a couple of factors that you see on the screen. So scalability is a big problem. अगर आपने mass level पे लोगों को train करना, do you have the infrastructure in place? Universities do not have that. The labs are limited. Lab आपने book करानी हो तो वो time लगता है. Location कहाँ कहाँ पे exist कर रही है? Mass level पे is a huge population that cannot afford to go to the universities. In fact, बाहर cyber security trainings are now being done at the high school and the elementary level. So यहाँ पे तो universities के अंदर नहीं है. देन कस्टमाइजेशन. एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अगर अपने आप को सिक्योर करना चाह रही है एंड दे वांट देयर इंजीनियर्स देयर साइबर सिक्योरिटी टीम टू बी ट्रेन्ड, दे हैव टू बी ट्रेन्ड स्पेसिफिक टू देयर ओन environment, and that's really not possible because unless you have that customizability available in your system, in your training system से मुराद वो labs हैं जो कि cyber security के courses में करवाई जाती हैं या organizations अपने cyber security teams को trainings करवाती हैं. Then accessibility and most importantly fidelity is really important. Fidelity in the sense that if you are training, if you are trying to the way it is the way it is right now done is if you want to train your individuals to, let's say, secure SCADA systems. SCADA systems की labs आप कहाँ से लाएंगे? पाकिस्तान में नेशनल सेंटर्स ऑफ साइबर सिक्योरिटी बने, उसके अंदर एक SCADA systems की lab है पियास के अंदर और कहीं भी नहीं. So how do you train your people to have that real life environments available to them जिसके ऊपर जाके they play around and then they find those vulnerabilities and exploit them to develop those skills जो कि real life में जब threats आएंगे तो काम आएंगे. So the fidelity is one of the most critical factors जो कि existing training models में missing होता है, and there are good reasons for that because you do not have the budgets, you do not have the awareness and understanding, entries to barrier, and different other reasons. The fourth important factor is how does a typical cybersecurity training map into, for example, अगर universities करवाना चाह रही हैं, how does that particular साइबर सिक्योरिटी ट्रेनिंग मैप इनटू द स्टूडेंट लर्निंग आउटकम जो कि आपको शायद HEC ने दिए हों, जो कि अगर एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कर रही है तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर जो जॉब रोल्स हैं, देयर इज अ लेवल 1 सिक्योरिटी, सॉक में लेवल 1 का एनालिस्ट बैठा है, लेवल 2 का, लेवल 3 का. तो how do those labs map into the responsibilities of these roles? ये तो सिर्फ मैंने आपको एक एग्जांपल दी. अगर आप if you are in extended detection and threat management, if you are into endpoint, if you are into data security, application security, endpoint security, so any skill development has to map into existing industry classifications. If they are not mapping into those, it is very difficult to get the value out of these labs and assign the right labs to the right people. So these are some of the challenges that we observe, that we see, that we hear from our customers and the people we work in with academia. Now that's where cyber ranges come in. Cyber ranges are there to bridge this gap between skills and the cybersecurity threats. And the way it is done is to provide a true to life, and this is the key word, true to life hands-on education platform, because unless you can simulate those environments that actually exist that you're trying to protect, unless you simulate your workers on those environments, their effectiveness when a breach comes, when a threat comes, would be really, really low. So Cyber Range helps you bridge that gap between skills and threats by providing that true to life platform. And I'll explain to you a couple of minutes down the line as to how this is done. Use cases of cyber ranges. So you would ask as to how, what are some of the ways in which a cyber range would come in useful. So first obvious example is educators as academia. You can implement this. Just imagine if you have your students if they're taking a networking course, or if you're offering a cybersecurity program, they're able to go into your LMS, and from that LMS, they can access a specific cybersecurity exercise or play out a scenario, or maybe do that red team, blue team exercises, or maybe conduct a capture the flag event. So Cyber Range provides you that ability to educate your students and faculty and lab engineers without going outside your environment. And we are working with our partners where we are doing our part to help the academia in having this ability. The next is individuals. If you are a cybersecurity professional, as with any good in any field of engineering, you are required to maintain your competency, and it's called CPD, continuous professional development. And if you're in cybersecurity with this changing landscape, maintaining your competency on a daily basis where you're not doing the theoretical stuff, but doing the hands-on stuff. That's where cyber ranges come in. And that's where the concept of open source cyber ranges come in, because no individuals, you may not be able to afford accessing the cyber range. So there are open cyber ranges being built nowadays where you can go and start, in a very hands-on way, start polishing and developing your cybersecurity skill. As organizations, if you are security, in businesses, whenever you start looking at cybersecurity, you start with the assessment of your cybersecurity readiness, and that is what is called assessing your cybersecurity posture. To assess your existing readiness, you would first want to list what's out there and maybe try to breach those systems, but you cannot breach your production system. So cyber range can provide you the ability to simulate your production or existing workloads that you would otherwise cannot play around with, and then see what are the vulnerabilities. So organizations use cyber ranges to improve their security posture. That governments around the globe in these cyber forces, they are working on, for example, America, there's a national cyber range, and that's a project of DARPA, and DARPA is funding that project where you emulate the real life sort of internet, if I may, for the lack of a better word, to find the vulnerabilities at a government level. And then if you're an organization and you have a cybersecurity department and you're hiring employees and you want to test their skills, wouldn't it be nice to give them a real life environment and scenario that go on to maybe breach these OS environments, or maybe breach applications, or breach or find some flaws in programming. So you can have these different categories that a candidate would be required to go through, and based on the points that they gather, you would be validating the skills that they are claiming on their resume. And then the most important part, which I started my talk with, is the National Cybersecurity Workforce Development. At a national level, Pakistan mein aap dekh rahe honge ye different organizations, different entities within the government, within the private sector, they are doing their part. And in the area of cybersecurity, in order to develop that critical mass, the baseline infrastructure or the platform that can help you do it is cyber range. Because cyber range, you are sort of in a legal way ट्रेनिंग योर मैसेज इन साइबर सिक्योरिटी. अगर आपने पोर्ट स्कैनिंग करनी है ना, पोर्ट स्कैनिंग अमेरिका में अगर आप जाए तो वैसे ही वो फेडरल क्राइम है, यहाँ पे तो वैसे ही पोर्ट स्कैनिंग कर लेंगे. लेकिन इफ यू वांट टू डू इट लीगली टू ट्रेन, तो यू कैन गेट दिस सैंडबॉक्स सॉर्ट ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट, I mean, for the lack of better word. So cyber range provides you that sandbox environment which is legal perfectly, and where you can go on breaching systems and validating and improving your skill sets. So these are some of the use cases where cyber ranges are used. Now, the question arises, like, what does a typical cyber range look like? There are essentially three components to a cyber range. One is because remember, cyber range is all about building skills. It's all about training your individuals in cybersecurity. And when education comes to LMS, आप सब लोग familiar होंगे, learning management system. So in any good cyber range, there is an LMS component, which may be called the range learning management system. And then the second part is, so LMS is the software part that sits on top of the infrastructure, which is the equipment, the hardware, the machines where you emulate the real life environments. So infrastructure is the second component. And the third component is curriculum, as to what sort of areas are you going to develop these exercises and scenarios. For example, मैं mobile application security के कुछ scenarios को उसमें प्ले आउट करना चाह रहा हूँ साइबर रेंज के अंदर, तो वो क्या क्या हो सकता है? मे बी एंड्रॉइड अटैक्स, मे बी आईफोन अटैक्स, मे बी मैन इन द मिडल अटैक्स, remote access trojans, and so on. So you have to define a whole curriculum. उस curriculum के मॉड्यूल्स होते हैं, मॉड्यूल्स के लर्निंग आउटकम्स होते हैं. यानी एक एक्सरसाइज को करने के बाद साइबर रेंज के अंदर एक स्टूडेंट, एक फैकल्टी, एक anybody as an individual, आप क्या सीखेंगे? So curriculum is a huge part, and then and I'll explain to you in a bit how does that curriculum map into the larger scheme of things in terms of industry skills. That's also very important. So let's take a look at these individually. LMS is basically the learning management system. इसके अंदर जो generally components नजर आते हैं cyber range के अंदर, वो 5 होते हैं. एक होता है scheduling components, where if you are a university and you want to train your students on cyber security areas, you may want to schedule a lab कि आज जो है undergrad का morning का फलाना batch जो है वो ये exercise करेगा. So a good LMS should provide you the ability to schedule those labs in the areas that you want to train your students in. That's very critical, because academic calendars are very defined and very thought through. So it is very important that scheduling is taken care of. Then the other part is, the next part is environment setup. Depending on your requirement, what sort of environment you want to simulate. So that's the next part that a good LMS should allow. Okay, so I want to train my students, let's say SCADA system. तो मैंने अगर PLC का एक simulator इसके अंदर deploy करना है, तो I should be able to maybe drag and drop, maybe through some other scripting mechanism, be able to deploy that infrastructure, some kind of orchestration mechanism जो कभी भी आगे दिखाऊंगा. So ability to deploy those labs, that's the second important component. Excuse me. The third most important component is scenario development. Once I have the basic lab, the infrastructure, the emulators or simulators, or maybe actual hardware in place, if I'm sort of doing in a hybrid model, तो what exactly do I want to do? वो scenario क्या होगा? What is that exercise? उस exercise का roadmap क्या होगा? If I am working on, let's say, Android root access की exercise है, तो how is that going to play out? So scenario development is another part. The fourth part is team management. If you are doing red team, blue team, capture the flag, or cyber defense exercises, so team management, that's a team की performance क्या है? That comes into reporting individuals की क्या performance है? How's everybody performing? ये आजकल पाकिस्तान में cyber security की hackathon है, so उसके अंदर you would see these dashboards जो कि अपने वो social media पे डाल रहे हैं. So reporting is another important component. The second key part of any cyber range is infrastructure. So cyber ranges are essentially the platforms, hardware platforms जिसके ऊपर आप एक software component LMS की सूरत में डाल देते हैं, and it helps to conduct those exercises. वो जो hardware है, that hardware could be on-prem, आप अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी में ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में लगा लें, उसके ऊपर यह रेंज लर्निंग मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम और सिनारियोज डेवलप कर लें, खरीद लें, बना लें, या ऑफ प्रेम आप क्लाउड में बना लें, या आप हाइब्रिड बना लें. मे बी यू हैव सम कंपोनेंट्स ऑन द क्लाउड, एंड मे बी अगर आपने राउटर को सिमुलेट करना है, उसका सिमुलेटर दुनिया में मौजूद नहीं है, सो यू बाय इट ऑन साइट, और वो आपके ऑन साइट पड़ा हुआ उसको कनेक्ट कर दें ऑफ प्रेम साइबर रेंज के साथ. Oh, sorry. Can anyone hear me? I saw this message, I think. Okay.
Hashim, I can hear you.
Okay, thanks. Vanessa, maybe you should try. There could be some error in the audio. Maybe try connecting, disconnecting, and connecting again, possibly, or maybe it will come in a minute. Could be some network issue. So, but the recording would be available, so you don't have to worry about this. So Jafar, you may want to leave a comment in the chat window that the recording would be available. So, all right, thank you. So the infrastructure, so it can be off-prem, on-prem, or hybrid. अच्छा, अब जब wherever you are based, आप जिस जो भी model choose करें deployment का, what are the components of that infrastructure? So there are 4 components to a cyber range. One is the underlying infrastructure. Underlying infrastructure से मुराद वो bare metal servers हैं, वो bare metal machines हैं जो आप use कर रहे होंगे. Intel Xeon servers use करने हैं या कुछ और use करें. That will be driven by the purposes of that cyber range. Then on top of it, there is the virtualization layer. आपने VM based environments बनानी है या Docker container based बनानी है, so on. And then there is the target infrastructure, which sits on top of the virtualization layer. Let me go to the next slide and actually share with you. So this is a typical, थोड़ा सा I've tried to zoom into this, so थोड़ी सी blur है, but I can send you the PowerPoints after this. So in a typical cyber range, this is the underlying infrastructure, the dedicated machines that you have, either on-prem or off-prem. उसके ऊपर जो sort of where you may want to train, let's say, hundreds and thousands of people. So in order to reduce your hardware footprint, कुछ ना कुछ आपने virtualization layer उसके ऊपर रखी होगी, which could be again VMs or Docker container based. And then on top of that layer sits the target infrastructure जो कि आप simulate करना चाह रहे हैं. अगर आप OS की breaches को simulate करना चाह रहे हैं, scenarios को breach करना चाह रहे हैं, तो उसकी एक environments होंगी. अगर mobile applications को करना चाह रहे हैं, उसके होंगे, जिस तरह emulators होते हैं Android के, iPhone के, and so on. So on top of it sits the target infrastructure. इन तमाम pieces को connect करती है orchestration layer. Orchestration layer, depending on the kind of virtualization you're using, it could be OpenStack, OpenShift, it could be something else. So orchestration layer will help you, connect all the dots. So So this is how a typical cyber range infrastructure looks like. And आप इसमें देख रहे हैं कि on the bigger box outside, that's the range learning management system, which जिसके अंदर फिर ये सारी जो मैंने आपको चीजें बताई, टीम मैनेजमेंट, रिपोर्टिंग, सिनारियो डेवलपमेंट, टेक्नोलॉजी एंड प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट और स्केजुलिंग आ जाती है. The third part of a cyber range is the curriculum. क्या पढ़ाना है. आपने environment setup कर दी, environment के अंदर आपने LMS भी लगा दिया हार्डवेयर के ऊपर. अब करना क्या है इस cyber range का? This is where education comes in. Now, curriculum could be in a typical cyber range. You could actually get a pre-packaged list of scenarios that come in with the cyber range. So they could be in different categories. They could be in packet sniffing. They could be in network testing. They could be in as I mentioned, SCADA systems or any other area. Or there could be an ad hoc system. Your environment own. Let's say if you're an organization, if you're a bank and you want to secure your IT infrastructure, so your environment may be may have some legacy systems. So how do you simulate or emulate those systems? So you would want a level of customization in that cyber range. So any good cyber range which actually give you both of these aspects, where you get some pre-made lists, but you have the ability to customize or maybe add completely new scenarios in there that are relating to your environment. So curriculum could either be pre-packaged or ad hoc, which essentially means customizable. The third most important aspect when you are talking about curriculum is कि ये जो curriculum है, let's say if I'm a school or a university, how does this map into the course scheme that we have for a particular program? So mapping of the curriculum, mapping of the cyber range labs, exercises, scenarios into the school curriculum is also very important. और वो normally अच्छी mapping जो होती है वो student learning outcome के level पे हो रही होती है rather than topic level पे. Then there are these two additional frameworks. So if we are stepping out of the university and we look at the larger private industry, businesses and organizations, तो वो कैसे इंश्योर करें कि ये जो लैब्स हैं ये हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में डिफरेंट रोल्स होते हैं, डिफरेंट टाइटल्स होते हैं, डिफरेंट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज होती हैं. सो हाउ डू यू मैप द स्किल्स दैट यू वांट टू डेवलप in a cyber range with those roles? So उसके लिए NICE का framework है, workforce framework, जिसको globally it's being pushed to be deployed. So this is actually something you may want to look into. It actually gives you the categories and the roles. उस role के लिए क्या skills चाहिए, क्या knowledge चाहिए, क्या task होने चाहिए, and so on. Similarly, there are these knowledge units by NSA and Department of Homeland Security. These are also available. In fact, let me just see if I can show you. Okay, so this is the NICE. NICE is a part of National Institute of Standard and Technology in the US, and that's a group within NIST that looks at cybersecurity, and they have this available for free, this whole framework. Then knowledge units which are from NSA and DHS, they're also available online. Look at these as essentially a mapping of the knowledge and skills within the cybersecurity arena. So let me go back to my slide deck. So just to recap a bit, three components of a cyber range. One is the LMS, the second is the infrastructure, and third is the curriculum. Then there are different types of cyber ranges that are available. In some cyber ranges, you would be having these simulators, जैसे where you are essentially synthesizing the real world scenarios. ठीक है, उसके लिए जैसे जहाज का aircraft simulators होते हैं, which is essentially designed to look like a cockpit, but it's not a real airplane. So इसके अंदर भी real life environments को simulate किया जाता है इन ranges के अंदर. दूसरी तरह की होती है overlay ranges, where there is a sort of the base layer of the infrastructure is the real environment, it's the real production environment. But उसके ऊपर जो है आपने एक virtualization level पे या target infrastructure level पे आपने cyber range deploy की हुई. इन ranges में threats ये होते हैं कि you may be exposed, your baseline infrastructure may be exposed to the cyber security threats. Then emulation ranges होती है. Emulation ranges is like कि अगर आज मैंने वो Mario game खेल ली है तो मैं सेगा या वो अटारी का खेलना जो कि आजकल अवेलेबल नहीं है, आई वांट टू प्ले दैट, तो मैं एक एमुलेटर अपने सिस्टम पर डाल लूंगा और मैं वो गेम खेल सकता हूँ। तो सिमुलेशन और एमुलेशन रेंजेस में फ़र्क ये है कि emulation ranges are more true to life than a simulation range. Essentially, the rules of real life are more closely deployed in an emulation range compared to a simulation range. And then there are hybrid ranges, which is sort of, it takes bits and pieces from each of these various aspects. So let me show you, there is a, this is a Virginia cyber range, one of the more known cyber ranges in the US. ये भी US में जो cyber games हो रही थी वहाँ पे their resources were being used. So this is a type of a hybrid cyber range. Then there is a cyber range जो NCR है, जो मैंने National Cyber Range है, DARPA की बनाई हुई. I don't know if it's बनी हुई है नहीं, but that's a type of an emulation cyber range. Then there is this cyber range of EU, which is EU Future Internet Research and Experimentation, and that's another example of a hybrid cyber range. So if you want to buy a cyber range, these are some of the factors जो कि मैंने पहले आपको challenges बताए थे. These are essentially the factors that you would want to assess if you are looking to have a cyber range. First or most important aspect is fidelity. So fidelity is where you want to assess कि जो cyber range है, how good it is in simulating the real life scenarios. तो the more true to life it is, the better cyber range it is. Location cyber range कहाँ पे deploy होगी? Off prem होगी, on prem होगी, hybrid होगी. अगर on prem होगी, उसका access किसको होगा? If you are looking at education network, तो let's say at a county, at a union council level, पाकिस्तान के केस में different government schools है, तो किसी एक central government high school में होगी, बाकी schools से connect होंगी over the internet. तो those kind of scenarios come into play. Universities है तो same case. अगर different schools हैं तो किस स्कूल में रखी जाएगी, बाकी स्कूल कैसे एक्सेस करेंगे. सो सोफिस्टिकेशन इज अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज साइबर रेंजेस के अंदर if you have multiple areas that are being played out, for example आपके पास you have production lines की आपने emulation की हुई है, तो what that kind of sophistication require different kind of hardware, different kind of scenarios, उनके लिए आपको लोग different kind of चाहिए होंगे. So sophistication is another aspect when it comes into play when you are assessing a cyber range. Scalability and elasticity is important because scalability is important to have that baseline ability to accommodate a large number of users, and then elasticity is for the short-term spikes in the short-term spikes in the access to the cyber range. So for example, if you're running a competition, तो आपकी जो cyber range है वैसे बनी तो 10,000 users के लिए हुई है, लेकिन it should be able to support for a shorter time 10,000 से 15,000 का workload, but not on the longer run. And then the curriculum and SLOs, how good the curriculum is and how well it maps into, as an education sector, how well does it map into your student learning outcomes. I think ये मैंने कुछ examples that I wanted to show you. So with this, I come to the last part of my talk, which is the Cyber Range Labs development opportunity that we at SPS right now have. So if anybody or somebody in your team is interested in developing developing a lab, in developing जिस तरह यूनिवर्सिटी में आप किसी भी अपने सब्जेक्ट की लैब करवाते हैं, इस तरह in the areas of Wi-Fi security and the mobile security, we are looking to develop cyber labs. We're already working on that, but we would be happy if somebody in faculty in Pakistan wants to be part of it, and if they want to contribute. There are essentially 3 deliverables that are required. Labs बनानी essentially वो जो मैंने आपको दिखाया कि either VM या Docker based, depending on the topic within the Wi-Fi and mobile security area. एंड उसके लिए लैब गाइड डॉक्यूमेंट बनानी, जिस तरह लैब मैनुअल्स होते हैं यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के अंदर, एंड एक लैब करने के बाद एक असेसमेंट के लिए क्विजेस बनानी है, सॉर्ट ऑफ द सममेटिव असेसमेंट्स. And then most importantly, this opportunity is a paid opportunity. So the work that you will do, you will be paid for this. And if you or somebody in your team is interested, please send me an email at hashim.barrak@spisnet.com. You see my email address at the screen, and I'll be happy to get on the phone and talk to you. So with this, I'll stop. This was all from my part. If you have any questions or curious, I'll be happy to answer. I think no questions. So I do see G. Abdul Ghani Saab, I saw you come off mute. Ghani Saab, अपना तारुफ भी करवा दीजिए. किस यूनिवर्सिटी से and your interest in cybersecurity? I think I have seen you in previous sessions also. Or maybe you're still having the audio problems, which is fine. We'll make available the recordings. So I see you're off mute and maybe you're talking, but I'm unable to hear you. Please feel free to type in the comments window if you can hear me. Let's wait for a couple of seconds for Abdul Ghani Saab to type in. Ji Ghani Saab, I remember. Good to see you back in these sessions. Let's talk after this call. So thank you everyone for joining. The next session on cybersecurity will be 4 weeks from now, and keep checking your emails. We'll be sharing the agenda and the topic through email invites. The recording of this session, as I mentioned, will be made available on our YouTube and website channels. So thanks again for joining and have a nice evening. Allah Hafiz.